Okay, welcome back to the Island Well channel, and tonight I'm going to talk to you about a special country close to the Caribbean, Brazil and Curacao. So how can you invest into a country like Curacao, and how can you make the people wealthy? That is this episode of Island Wealth Channel. Okay, this is Rooney Calmera, and let me take a look at the companies right now. We want to look at the companies of the largest companies in the world, and you go to this site. The site is called companiesmarketcap.com, and there you see the largest market cap companies, largest companies by market cap. Market cap is the number of stocks outstanding times the price. So if the price increases and you have the same number of stocks that you can buy, if the price doubles, for instance, then the market cap is going to double. So from all these companies, you can see the earnings. You can see the revenue, that's the profits, the revenues. You can see the employees, number of employees, and you can do this. Now, why am I showing you? What is this? Why do you need this information? If you are in the Caribbean and if you want to invest your money in stocks, then you might want to look at this ranking. If you want to put your money on a bank, just saving and receive maybe 2%, 3%, while the inflation is higher, while they are printing money at an average of 7% per year in the United States, then it is your own choice. But in Island Wealth channel, we're going to show you how you can become wealthy and what will happen if you invest in a country like Curacao. You invest a lot of money. So we're going to run a simulation today. What does this have to do with Brazil? Now, what companies are the biggest companies in Brazil? So I'm going to build a case right now, just like I'm building it with my investors in my strategic programs. I have an 8-week program coming up in January, the second part of January, where I will be working with Python programmers, people who want to automate their lives, automate their businesses, grow their businesses, scale their businesses with artificial intelligence. Imagine you're a solopreneur, so you're the only one in your business, but you have 20 digital artificial intelligent agents, and imagine that every night you say to your direct report, the agent reporting to you directly, this is the plan, this is the idea, go, and while I'm sleeping, you go and talk to your digital artificial intelligent agents, and then tomorrow morning I want the report to invest in these companies. That is what we're going to teach you in the Island Wealth Python Island Wealth Management Program. 8 weeks. We're going to launch again. The other opportunity to work with me, and I'm just going to give you a taste today. The other opportunity is the Island Wealth Investment Academy. I'm still launching that. I will launch that probably also in January. It's a 3-day, you're going to dive deep and see other options that you have instead of saving your money on a bank. We're going to talk about investing in real estate, investing in stocks, investing in Bitcoin. Today I did an episode, watch it please, about Bitcoin. So what does Brazil have to do with Curacao? Take Curacao. an economy of about 2.5 billion US dollars. So Curacao has to grow 500 years, $2.5 billion to just reach the 1 trillion market cap of Bitcoin right now. If all the people in Curacao work for 500 years, then they're going to reach the market cap of Bitcoin that Bitcoin has just reached in 14 years. Bitcoin just started 2009, and already now we have a 1 trillion market cap of a commodity, of a store of value. But imagine you want to do business with Brazil. Why do you want to do business with Brazil from Curacao? Because Brazil is part of the BRICS, and BRICS is some countries: Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, and now we have BRICS Plus. Those are 130 countries in the world that has grouped around the BRICS, the initial BRICS. They are starting to create a union, their own monetary union. They are trading with each other. They are already accepting money. Saudi Arabia is also part, and Saudi Arabia just said, we are going to accept your currency of the BRICS instead of only the dollars. You don't need to pay us with dollars anymore. So Kissinger, the contract with Kissinger between Saudi Arabia and Kissinger, that contract is void. Now Saudi Arabia will sell its oil to all the world. You don't have to pay with the dollars. In another episode, we will check what the impact will be on the dollars, and also because other Caribbean islands, all your Caribbean islands, your money is pegged to the dollar. For instance, Curacao, $1 is 178 guilders. The Eastern Caribbean countries, I have macroeconomic investment frameworks for 8 Eastern Caribbean countries: Turks and Caicos and Jamaica. The Eastern Caribbean countries, those 8 countries, islands, their currency is pegged to the US dollar. $1 is 2.7 Eastern Caribbean currency. Now, if everybody is dumping the dollar, or if Saudi Arabia doesn't want the dollar as the only currency for their oil, then it's going to impact the value of the dollar. Imagine the value of $1. We can check it up. How much renminbi from China you would buy. And imagine that changes. You can buy less renminbi with $1. That means that the products, the value of the dollar compared to the renminbi is going to decrease. So everything is coming from China. China is the manufacturer, the factory of the world. It comes to the United States, and then it comes to the Caribbean. So if everybody is changing the dollar, less demand for the dollar, then there is less demand for your currency in the Caribbean. That's tip number 1. You listened to this episode, so you got the tip number 1. What are you going to do? Are you going to trade with the BRICS or not? In this episode, I'm going to show you a case where Curacao, any other Caribbean island can do that, can trade with the BRICS. To do that, we first are going to go to the B of Brazil, because the Brazil is the closest to the BRICS, the closest member of the BRICS to the Caribbean. And it's one of the largest country, I think it's the largest country in Latin America, South America. So if Caribbean wants to do business with the BRICS, you don't only have to invite the visitors the Brazilian visitors to your country. You have to have flights. Of course, the Brazilians, they spend a lot Tell me below, do you have any Brazilians coming to your islands? In another episode, we will check that. We'll show you the figures, because in all the 8 investment frameworks that we have that indicator. How many people from Brazil, from North America are coming to the islands? We also have that for Turks and Caicos and also for Jamaica. And my goal is to have that next year. We want to have that for all the islands in the Caribbean. So we want to grow from 12 macroeconomic investment frameworks of the Caribbean islands. We want to go to all the Caribbean islands. And then we will go to all the small island development states in the world. 57. So imagine you have Curacao. Let me go in. And Curacao wants to do business with the BRICS. Now, the first thing is to go to this site and to check up what are the largest companies from Brazil. So we want to look at, because we're going to do business with only the largest companies. We don't want to do business with the small companies. So I'm going to click here, ranking countries. And when you click to the ranking country, you will see here Brazil. When you click Brazil, you will see that there are already, let me check it, there are already a lot of companies here. Let me check this. A lot of companies that, we move this away. There are a lot of companies here from Brazil. And what is my strategy? How do investors think? They would go and say, these are the top 10 largest companies in Brazil, and from the Caribbean, from Curacao, from Turks and Caicos, from Anguilla, from St. Kitts and Nevis, from Dominica, Grenada, from Antigua, Barbuda, from Jamaica, from Dominica. Did I forget anybody? St. Lucia people. If you are from St. Lucia, come on, click me. If you have your name of your island, I've mentioned your name on your island and you're watching this, comment below so that I know that you are listening. So people, businesses in the Caribbean, businesses doing business with Brazil, South-South businesses, that means trading from a South developing world. The Caribbean is considered developing world. Some of these islands are high income islands, Bermuda, Bahamas, maybe Barbados, but let's consider ourselves South-South. So if there is the BRICS, and the BRICS are developing, China is developing, we can trade with the developed world, with Europe, with United States, with Canada, with UK, but we can also start looking at the BRICS. We have many cultures in the Caribbean. Curacao has, I think, at least 60 cultures. Chinese, India's people, Suriname people, Dutch people, Venezuela, Colombia, Haiti. We have people from Jamaica. All these people here, I'm going to show you that out of the census, the population census, you will see a mix of people. Chinese, did I mention the Chinese? I think we have people from Israel. We have people from Middle East, Iran, Lebanon. Welcome to all of you. You are very, very part UD Curacao. That means you are a daughter and a son of Curacao. UD Curacao means daughter and son of Curacao. So if you come here, if you are remote, you come to Curacao, you will become a daughter. If you have Curacao in your heart, you will become a daughter. Now, imagine that we now have the business with Brazil. We would look at these companies. Petrobras. Petrobras is the first one. You see that? Petrobras. We can dive into Petrobras. What is Petrobras doing? What we know right now is Petrobras has a market cap of $85 billion. That's a big. The price is 13.79. So today you can buy Petrobras. If you want to invest, I'm not saying investment, there is a risk with all the investments. I don't know your situation. This is just for educational purposes. But if you want to buy Petrobras, you can buy it. Probably you go to the stock exchange and you can buy it. It might be the United States Stock Exchange, it might be the Brazilian Stock Exchange, you can buy it. Well, just open an account and buy it. But you want to know what the business is of Petrobras. New holdings, another one, 70.2 billion US dollars, also cheap. So I want to look at what we would look is the PE ratio. The PE ratio, that's another thing, the price earning ratio. If it is very low, then it means that there is great value for your money because you are paying a price of 2 times the earnings, the annual earnings. Now, when you go to here, Antacadao, 75, so you're paying a price of 75 times their earnings. So basically it means that if you have 70 years, then you will get your money back because they're paying you the earnings. They're making the earnings. You're not getting all the earnings, but maybe they're paying dividends, and then it's 70 times that earnings is what you're paying. So when it goes above, Warren Buffett is saying when it goes above 15 times, then you're buying too expensive. So look at the companies below 15 PE ratio. So you see there are many cheap companies here with a low PE. They are all in Brazil. If we look at the market cap, so we want to go to Itaú Unibanco, probably that's a bank, 55 billion. Vale, I don't know what the business is, but you can dive in. On. All these are Brazilian companies in the world, the biggest in the world. Banco Santander, that's a bank. Ambev, I think Ambev is liquor or all kind of stuff. I think I had Ambev also in a portfolio, but I didn't know that it was a Brazilian company. Let me look at Ambev. So when you look at this, you will know more about the business of Ambev. You see that 35 billion, what their market cap has been doing. They had some problems here. It was a 1 trillion company, just like Bitcoin in 2010. It was a 1 trillion, and then they had some slash here, 350 billion, and then they are lowering. So something is happening with this company that they are losing market cap. You have all the situation here of the market cap, the change. You see here, they lost a lot of market cap here in 2013. So this company, if we're doing business with them, okay, what are they doing? They are beer company, Thai beer, Thai beverage. What is this? Is this their companies? Similar. These are similar companies. But you would go and check Ambev. Check it from different sources, what kind of company this is. You see the category is alcoholic beverages. So in the beverages, so apparently there is a Brazilian company, big in the beverages. Now let's go back to my story. I'm building the case. So let me look at these beverages. So imagine you are in the Caribbean and you want to provide some value in the value chain of the beverages businesses. And you know that Ambev is a Brazilian company, huge. They have to sell their beverages in Brazil, and they have to sell the beverages in the world. And maybe they're selling their beverages to China, to the BRICS, to Russia, to India, to South Africa, what would you do if you are in the Caribbean? So this has nothing to do with tourism. Those Brazilians are not coming to you. Maybe they're coming, but we are talking about their value chain. They are producing beverages. Can you imagine? Tell me below. Can you imagine that you have, for instance, you are providing some services, and the services are about, let me say, you are doing market analysis. You are living in the Caribbean like me, and you're doing market analysis, you're doing data science, you're doing data analytics, you are using artificial intelligence, and you want now to provide value to the business of the beverages of Ambev. What would you do? Now let me just give you some examples. What I would do is I would dive deeper in the business model of Ambev. I would, secondly, download all the information, the metrics, the sales, the earnings, the balance sheet, the cash flow statement, the earnings statement of Ambev. I would go and also download all the earnings calls. The earning call is where the annual, sometimes it's 3 times, 4 times every quarter. The CEO of Ambev will have a call and have a transcription with its investors. In that call, you will see their strategy, you will see their presentation. If you are a stock investor, they will treat you like kings because you are investing, providing capital for their business. And then you will dive into the business model. I will pick one of my books and I will check the business model of Ambev. And the business model is just one piece of paper, just one piece of paper like this, where you have the whole business model. You have the customers, segments, you have the value that they're providing, you have the suppliers here, and then I will understand the business model. I will use artificial intelligence to do that. As a matter of fact, I will create a workflow, step by step. I will say to my direct report, which is an artificial intelligence, I'm going to give you all this information for the company. In this case, the company is Ambev, but the company can be any company, and do this in every time I give you this information. First one, analyze the balance sheet, analyze the cash flow statement, analyze this earnings report, and make a report for me that is what is the business they are doing, what is their working process, what are the problems they are receiving, what are the things that they want to achieve, what are their goals, and then find out for me where there are opportunities to create value. Also, because I am system integrator, I am a process integrator, I am a project management, list opportunities for great projects, for great workflow improvement, for IT system changes, list that for me, and I want that every day at the morning. Boom, that's it. So I program that system with my Python island wealth management, creating digital assets. I will program that. That's what I'm teaching in the 8 weeks. Launching in January, mid-January again. And then I will receive this information. I will do then the same thing with Ambev, the same thing with other companies. I'm studying all these companies on the list, and I have a report with opportunities. The next thing, once I have that report, I will ask my other artificial intelligence agent to create a proposal, a slide deck, presenting my business to that CEO. So artificial intelligence will also help me create a pitch deck where I'm saying, these are your problems, these are the root causes, this is the information. I'm presenting myself. I'm 30 years experience as an investor, economist, global economist. I work with software teams. I'm working with decentralized teams, the teams of Keat.io. Keat.io, that's my team. And the people of Hole Punch, welcome. I'm in your community. That's a decentralized software platform. Decentralization means that I can create software that comes from Curacao to Brazil and nobody can stop that. It's unstoppable software. It is secret. If we want to pass information about the businesses, I can produce that value. I don't think people in Brazil can do that, so I can provide that value from the Caribbean. So do you see now how, if you look at the Brazilian companies, if you have a goal, how you can provide value to that Brazilian company? Do you see that? You can do that with all these companies. Petrobras, so by now we have an artificial intelligence direct report who's going to receive Petrobras, New Holdings, Itaú Unibanco, Vale, WEG, on all these companies. And I'm not only going for the 11, because once I have automated my workflow, I know that my direct report, artificial intelligence agent, will talk with his team, his or her team, and will produce this. I can go to sleep now because I will receive all these. Of course, I will not send all these every day, one day, but I will send maybe a schedule that every day I will send one of them. Or I will also, yes, every day I will send one of them. So what I'm talking about here is things that are happening right now. I'm not dreaming, because we already created, for instance, I can download the information of all these companies, all their statements, their balance sheets, their cash flow statement, their earnings, and I can analyze that automatically. I'm doing that because I can program in Python. And this is unlike just going to ChatGPT and typing. I can create them with ChatGPT, but there are also local models, large language models, that can do the same. So by now, if you think like this is completely what I didn't expect, Rooney, what are you talking about? Why are you bringing artificial intelligence? My point to you is make sure that you can understand and use that tool. Artificial intelligence is just like this iPhone. It is a system, it's a software system, and then you can use it. With it, you are more powerful and more productive. Because if you had to do that analysis of all these banks, it would take you at least a team of maybe 5 accountants, specialists. They would need to go to the spreadsheets. You need to pay them per hour. You need to do all this stuff. And if you master artificial intelligence, not only via the ChatGPT, but with a program, if you can access ChatGPT and other large language models, let them do your stuff, you are more productive. So by now, I think you understand that these companies, they can receive a proposal from a Caribbean data science, economic, global marketing, simulation company like me. I'm a training company also, investment company. I'm also in real estate, stocks, and Bitcoin. I teach you how Bitcoin can improve your wealth. By now you know that we can enter from the Caribbean this value chain. The value chain means that they're doing business, they have a problem in there, and we from the Caribbean are giving them a service. So if, for instance, a company that delivers the beverages, that they need to have an automated system. Because I worked also in the Netherlands, I also speak Spanish, I'm trying to speak Portuguese, I speak English, I worked with people from the Philippines, I can design a software system that helps them with their beverages. If they want to check the quality of the beverages, maybe they already have that, but we can check the quality of the beverages. We can have a workflow system that every Brazilian company of Ambev, that they know where the beverage is coming from. We can provide a whole workflow that says, okay, I'm drinking this beverage right now, but what is the ingredient? Who is benefiting? Which farmers are benefiting? Where was this produced? Every bottle can have its own NFT. So every bottle is unique, and every bottle is telling you it's coming from there. You understand? We have technology. I can do that because we in the Caribbean, some of us are high skilled. We operate globally. We go studying in the United States, in the Netherlands, in my case, in Erasmus University, one of the best university in Rotterdam. Rotterdam is a transportation harbor city. So I know a logistic expert in the Netherlands who can provide information and knowledge and systems to simulate this logistical process of Ambev. You see? So I'm building this case, and I know you know there has been no Brazilian by now to Curacao, but still we can earn money. Now imagine you have 1,000 businesses on Curacao, and they all have $500,000 in value added. That means they added value. That means that they bought some systems, they bought some studios, computers, and then the price they sold these services to Ambev. Imagine there are 1,000, and they're all working for Brazil. For Curacao, this will be a huge impact because Curacao doesn't have so many businesses. We are small. We are, I think, maybe 4,000 active businesses, and then 1,000 businesses on top of that. That's 25%. So the amount of businesses, 1,000, will grow with 25%. If these businesses all have $500,000, of course they will not start with 500,000, but if they provide highly skilled services, data science services, analytical services, those are prime businesses, sales services. If they provide that to the businesses of Ambev, and this can happen with all these top 10 Portuguese, Brazilian companies. If you have 1,000, then 1,000 times 500,000, that's $500 million, right? 500,000 value added times 1,000, that is 500 billion. 500 million. So 500 million, yeah, that is 10% of the GDP, gross domestic product of Curacao. That's 10% of the income. So that's a substantial sector, because right now Curacao is the export sector of Curacao. I think tourism is about, let's say one third to we will check it, one third to 60%. So that's the second part. I broke it down. We have 1,000 businesses now, and the 1,000 businesses, each the target is $500,000 US from 2025 till 2030. $500,000 a year, that's the target, and we are looking for 1,000 businesses of diaspora all in the world, of Curacao people, Caribbean people, to set up these businesses on Curacao. Now, what do you think? Would you be interested in this business case? Do you have any services? Let me know below. Are you in the Caribbean? And do you want to tap into that business of the BRICS? Or do you only want to stay in the United States, focused on tourism, focused on Canada, UK, the Netherlands? Because you can come to Curacao and you can be part of that journey of 1,000 businesses for $500,000 US, targeting the Brazilian market. Now, if you are watching from Brazil, contact us. Communicate below. You see? You have nothing to lose because we can add value. If we add value, you can also add value. Now, what I would be interested in is how much business, how much sales do these companies have? For instance, Ambev, I would say, how much businesses does Ambev have? In another session, I will dive into Ambev. I promise you, if you give a comment below, if I receive 50 comments below, I want to know more about Ambev, I will dive into that. But now let's make it 100. 100 comments below about Ambev with a question. I want to know that, and ask me exactly what do you want to know. Then I'm going to dive into Ambev. In the next episode, I'm going to dive into the business of Ambev because I want to know how much sales do they have, where are they earning that sales, are they earning it in China, are they earning it in BRICS, or are they selling those products in the United States? I want to know how much money they are making in the BRICS. So how much money, beverages, does Ambev send and sell to the BRICS, to the 130 countries of the BRICS? Because the BRICS is not only those 5 countries. The BRICS is BRICS Plus. Okay? So I want to know how much do they sell. If they don't sell enough, then I'm going to propose to them there is an opportunity to sell more. And beverages, once you put it, maybe within a month, it can stay the same. I need a beverages expert, but it can go to South Africa. It can go to Africa, to Angola, to whatever country in Africa. It can go to Latin America. It can go to other countries, to India. It can go to Russia. It can go to South Africa. It can go to China. Because if I'm a Chinese and I have just bought a Tesla or I bought a BYD electric vehicle, I want a beer. You see, people want to enjoy. So if I get 100 comments, when I get 100 comments about Ambev below this video, either on LinkedIn, YouTube, or other channels that we're working, I will come up with the next episode of Ambev. Now let's go to the impact, because now with building this business case, I want to see the impact. I want to see the impact of, and I will show you the impact within, let's say within an hour, because we will keep it only an hour. Now let me go first, before the impact, let me go to Brazil, because I want to know more about the Brazilian economy, because we're going to invest in Ambev, invest a lot of time, but now we want to see how is Brazil doing actually as a country, you see. So this section is about how would you approach Brazil and how would you approach the country. And why are we doing this? Because we want to know how much money do they have, what is the debt, how is the growth of their economy. We want to compare it. Now, just for some perspective, Luxembourg is the wealthiest country in the world. We already see that in previous episode. Just check the previous episodes about Luxembourg. Luxembourg is $170,000 per capita per on average. It doesn't mean that everybody has $170,000 if you are living in Luxembourg. But what it means is, on average, their economy divided by their number of their population is significant. It's the first ranking. Now we want to compare that with Brazil, because if we want to do business with Brazil, we want to know if Brazilians are rich, wealthy or not. Okay? So we're doing this country analysis. For that, we use the magic graph. So I'm just giving you a little bit of workshop 3 of the Python Island Wealth Management. I'm not giving you the whole workshop, but I'm giving you this workshop, what we just covered. So I'm telling you here that I'm using this thing in practice, and that's why I'm showing you. If you join, when you join, after this show, I will put a link, and when you join that, you will become part of the community. But also, when you come back, you will see a link below this video to join the VIP launch of the Island Wealth, Python Island Wealth Management, Creating Digital Assets. And that's a program of 8 weeks starting in January, where we will teach you this. You will actually get this graph, the magic graph, so that you can make these kind of graphs. If you are an investor, you will see the value of it right now. So what we're seeing there is we have all kind of code, and this is the debt of USA. How does this work? This is the first time you're seeing this. This magic graph is just code that we program. It's going to the IMF website and it's picking up the data. Thank you, IMF, International Monetary Fund, for providing this data to all of us. It's free. And then it creates a graph. So I can send this indicator, an indicator, which is a variable, any variable, from a list of variables. I can send a country, and then my code, my magic graph, magically will create the graph. So we're going to do that for the United States, and you see the depth of the United States. I covered this also, very high. We have all other countries here, and now we have all these indicators. You see here the number of indicators. These are indicators from the real sector of the economy. You also have financial sector, monetary sector, tourism, fiscal sector, the government, how is it doing. But for this, I'm just going to give you the real data. And then I already run this. So now we're going to get Brazil. So to show you that this is not fake, I'm going to put Lux in. Lux from Luxembourg here. And you see the code is going right now to the IMF and creating, boom, Luxembourg. So this is dynamically. This is a notebook, and this notebook is open source. You can program, your kids can program. We also help kids. We have a special program. So this is Luxembourg, 160,000, you see? About 2022, they have about $140,000 per head of the population. Now, if I look at Brazil, so remember that 140,000, the wealthiest country in the world, Brazil, and then this is Brazil, so $25,000. Is it in 2020? That's a projection. In 2025, it's about, let's say, 20,000, 22,000. So in a future edition of this graph, I will have, when you click here, you will see exactly the numbers, and that's nice color, nicer color. But Brazil is about $20,000. That's enough, because Curacao is also about $20,000. So Brazil is very rich, very wealthy country. Curacao is one of the wealthiest country. St. Martin, I think, is a little bit wealthier. Also advise St. Martin. Turks and Caicos, I don't know Turks and Caicos, and I will check that. Saudi Arabia. So this is, they are developed. They have money. Because it can be that Brazilian, you have many, many people, but what if their GDP per capita was about 5,000? You see? Or it could be 3,000. That means that on average, they have wealthy people, but they have poor people. On average, it tells you their economic development is low. When Brazil, this is Brazil, the beverages are coming from Brazil, but when they are selling to India, to China, etc., you have to also analyze the markets that they are delivering. All these markets, all these 130 countries in the world, I can send this graph and create this graph for all these countries. And I can put that in a PDF report, or I can put that whatever report. I can provide the data also. That means that for all these countries, 130 countries, you can have on average the GDP per capita. So that's an example of a service that I can provide to Ambev. Maybe the people from Ambev can do it themselves, but that's a service that for sure I can provide. Because once I created this one time, the only thing I'm going to say is loop this. Loop this a couple of times. So pick up all the 130 countries. Look at this. Pick up all the 130 countries of the BRICS Plus, and then create this graph for me. Pop, 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 pop. It will happen in less than 3 minutes, because that is what Python is about, programming. Now I can go to ChatGPT and say, ChatGPT, can you do this for all these countries? But that's the start of ChatGPT. If you are there, congratulations, because you already started using ChatGPT. But if you want to go beyond, just like Clive. Clive is a wealth manager, retired, and Clive wanted to go. Clive is one of my students. Jeff, business owner, online business owner, coaching 10,000 coaches, online coaches, and he wanted to go beyond. And that's why he went into that course, into that program. So this Brazil, GDP per capita. Now, if we go, we have now put country. Country is still there. Country is Brazil. I put country as Brazil. And now let's look at the debt. Because I also want to know, is Brazil in a debt situation or not? So you see here, apparently Brazil, the debt to GDP has to be 60%. So IMF, when they come to you, they will look at 60%. If you are more your debt to GDP, which means the total debt of the government divided by the total income of the whole country, if that is above 60%, the IMF will tell you, you got a problem. In the European Union, they also have like 60% of debt to GDP, and they have like 3%, I think it was 3% of the deficit of the government. Those were the two targets. So if you are beyond 80%, you see here, that's why you see here, in 1982, I know for sure that when I go to Brazil, and I talk to the people of Brazil, I can tell them, based on this graph only, I can tell them, okay guys, you had some struggles in 1982, because it went above and then the debt suddenly decreased. So this is a crash. Often you will see that the real, the currency of Brazil, probably they had a problem. So they couldn't pay their debt and then bam, crash again. I would say in 1986, 86, they went up to 100% and then it crashed again. So probably you will see the real, that's the currency, doing the same thing. We don't have time to dive into that right now, but these crashes, that's basically what's happening in the developed world, in the developing world, and that can also happen with the United States. So by looking at Brazil, you see the only way why United States is still 120 is because they have the global reserve country, a currency. So this can happen. If you look at Argentina, I've looked at these graphs, you see the same pattern. So Brazil had at least 3 debt problems in between 78 and 94. Okay? Then the debt started growing again. So this is the debt situation. Now let's look at the other indicator. And the other indicator is GDP per capita. We already saw that. And another indicator is the GDP, gross domestic product. That's their total income per year. So Brazil has a 2.5 millions of US dollars. So is this 2.5? No, this is 2.5. I think this is 2.5 billion. No, it can be much more. So let me check this for you. It's 2.5 and then 1 with 6 zeros. Millions of dollars. This is Curacao has 2.5 billion. So this would be much more. This needs to be much more than Curacao. I'll check that up for you. And then we have the growth. So is Brazil growing? China was growing 7%, 10% per year. So you see here Brazil has grown a lot. 8% it was growing in 86. Then it went to minus in a recession. There is a growth trend going up basically from 1989 till 2010. And then the trend is like a little bit down. You see there is a trend from 2007, 2010 to 2019. There is a trend negative. So Brazil, if you take this, is on average they have been growing about 2%, 3%, something like 3%. Normally, you would expect this to be stable, high. So, Brazil has a volatile growth. So, AmBev has probably had struggles if they are only focused internally, because they will see their revenues and their earnings also fluctuate like this. Maybe that's the reason why we saw them decrease in market cap. Look at that. Remember, we saw the market cap here going down. 1 trillion. They were a 1 trillion company and it went down. So probably they are losing money because the people cannot be paying them. So they need to focus outside Brazil. If they are in Brazil, they need now to focus in BRICS, because if you diversify with more markets, it's going to take some investments, because we from Caribbean are offering them services, and these services are highly skilled services, so they need to pay us because we are providing value. But the plan is, if they have the 130, probably you're not going to 130 countries all the time, but you will enter the most profitable markets. And then probably they need to get out of Brazil. Right. So that is the analysis here. We will leave it to that. Yes, blessing. We will leave it to that. And now we will go to the last part, because we want to check the impact this is going to have on an island. So now let me go to Curacao. This is a macroeconomic model of Curacao. It's a macroeconomic and investment model. And what do you see here? I'm going to show you exactly what you see here. So what you see here is you're going to see to the right all zeros. And when I'm changing the model, I'm running a simulation, you will see that these zeros turn into figures. Now, what is this macro model? This is not about the macro model, but this is a platform, a discussion platform, where you have all the data of the past. I created this macro model myself, and I have 12 of these macro models, and like I said before, you have all these data. Now, what is basically the data is in a data source, a source of data. We collected all relevant data of Curacao specific, and we analyze this data. So here you see the balance of payments of Curacao. The balance of payments means that the trading of Curacao with the world, and the trading of Curacao with the world, that is where you will find how Curacao gets its money and becomes wealthier, because when you trade with the world, you can trade and offer your services. That's the balance of payments. You have many other sources. The national accounts. The national accounts is how is the economy doing, the real economy doing, what are they consuming, what are they investing. Most of that data comes from the Statistical Bureau, and this balance of payments comes from the central bank, because the central bank has the transactions met with the world. If I want from Curacao, I want to trade and buy something and sell something to China, then China has to pay me a renminbi, so China will send renminbi to the central bank, and there will be some trade, and I will receive my dollars, and that goes through the central bank. Now, this is an analysis just in the source that we did on the oil sector of Curacao, because the oil sector is very important, was important, but it decreased. So I did some analysis. Once you have the data in your data source, you can do some analysis of the charts. And these charts are not automatic charts, but these charts are just charts based on the data. Now, the most important thing is the model. So, wrapping up this episode, what do you have here? You have the model, and I'm going to run a scenario right now in the model. So you have all these indicators to the left, real sector, you see that? Then you have the indicator of the fiscal sector, this is the government, but let me just put it a little bit for the past. And then you have for the future, we can make forecasts, for 2025. So all the green you see here, those are called our forecasts are green. It means that the green is our responsibility, and then when you have gray, these data are from the Statistical Bureau, from the central bank. We don't touch this data, we only use it. So with a discussion framework like this, you can know exactly like what is the data. And when you're talking to investors, or when you're doing a strategy session like this, like I'm doing here, you know exactly the numbers. So you can be a business owner, you can be a hotel, you can be a consultant, a group of consultants. You want to dive into Curacao, and you want to dive into Brazil, and you will, if you are from Curacao, Turks and Caicos, the 8 Caribbean islands, Jamaica and Turks and Caicos, the 8 Eastern Caribbean islands, and we are building more and more. But if you are from Jamaica, Turks and Caicos, contact me, and all the Eastern Caribbean. If you are a business owner and you want to do business, then we need to understand your business and your economy first. So that's why I created this. This is a platform to help governments plan the wealth creation of their islands, but it's also a platform for investors because investors need to know their numbers. So consider this as the balance sheet, the earnings statement, and the cash flow statement for your whole country, for your whole island. This is from what Curacao. So what you see here, let me go here. I told you, let me just give you some examples. I told you that Curacao has about 5.5 billion guilders in the economy. So here you see that the gross domestic product market prices, yeah, that the prognosis, the forecast is 7.1 and 5.5. You see, we had some big hits in let me see, in Corona. Okay, that's grown. It's going the right side, and the basic reason for this is tourism. Now, if you want to know how much the enterprise, let me put how much the government. No, let me see here. Wait. If you want to know how much let me move this a little bit. How much is Curacao exporting? Because now we're going to run the scenario. How much is Curacao exporting for tourism and non-tourism? Now, we don't want to look at this in the fiscal sector because that's a government. We don't want to look at, yes, external sector. You see, if you set external sector, then you're right. So then you see the exports of goods and services is 3.7 billion, because this is a million, 3.7 billion guilders. Divided by 1.78, and then you find the dollars. So Curacao is exporting 3.7 billion, and those are services to foreigners, of which non-tourism is 1.8, of which tourism is 1.9. So Curacao apparently has 1.9 in forecast of tourism services, and that those services are driven by cruise tourism and stayover. I can tell you exactly how much cruise and stayover we are projecting for the future, because this model runs from 2025 till 2030. We also have a very, very long-term version. And then you have tourism and you have non-tourism. So non-tourism is what the services that we're talking about now for Brazil. Because I am a non-tourism business, you can come to Curacao, you can come to a villa, you can come here as a Brazilian. I would like to help you, but I'm talking about non-tourism services, which is ICT. It can be educational services. It can be transnational education. It can be other services of software. It can be financial services, because we have a large financial services, tax services. It can be Bitcoin services, because we also have a community. It can be software development services, because decentralized software development services. It can be Python data science services, non-tourism businesses. So for all these businesses, Curacao has 1.8. Now, in the case of Curacao, it's ICT, it's transportation, those kind of ICT exports, transportation. We have a harbor. It's bunkering for the cruise ships. That's not tourism. That's not measured as tourism. Those are non-tourism. When a ship comes to the port of Curacao, then it needs to enter the harbor. We have a beautiful harbor in Willemstad. You should look at that. Now, imagine we're going to now run a simulation. Before we run that, we want to look at what the GDP, gross domestic product, estimate is for. We have the labor market, you see here. The gross domestic product is for Curacao for 2025, and we see here row 20 to 228, we see we are projecting, let's say, 4.6% by the end of this year and 3.5. So once you do business with me for the other islands, I will provide you with an updated version of this framework. We have strategy sessions. We can have 8-week programs. I can be working for you in our pilot. I can be working for you in your projects. All kinds of stuff. Imagine we're going for Brazil. We need a workflow. We need a project team. I can provide you an online project management situation. We can step up your team. If your team is higher than bigger than 15 people, heads of your departments, then I can provide you that service, because for one person only, that's too much. But if you have 15 businesses who all want to earn $500,000 and they are in a team, a collection of a team, 15 businesses, we can set up a pilot. Now, what is the impact going to be on the economy? Look at this. And this economy is not growing, because the economy is growing about 2.6%, 2.1, 2.2%, 1.9%, 1.7%. This is the forecast. So if we don't do anything for Curacao, if we don't get these 1,000 businesses with each earning $500,000, then it's not going to work. Then it's not going to, nothing's going to happen. And you will see this from this balance of payment. Now, you will see this first in the national accounts, which is real GDP. You will see it in the fiscal accounts, which is the fiscal numbers, the government budget in taxes. You will see it in the economy. You will see it in the purchasing power. You will see it in the employment, unemployment, etc. Now, how much do we want to add to the economy? Click below. But from now, for the last session, I'm going to add 500 million in exports. So I already did some analysis, and that's why I put it here. I prepared, and we're going to boost this 1.8 billion. We're going to boost it with 500 million. I'm going to increase this 500 million, and on top of this, not only for 1 year, but next year I will increase it with more, 500 million more. Every year it grows with 500 million. So how do we do that? You see here to the right, that there is all zeros. So in 2000, nothing will happen. But when I increase this with 500,000, 500, these are in millions, right? Million guilders. So what I'm doing now is I'm going to click here, and I'm going to put plus, look at the left, 500. Enter. And then you will see to the right that already the model is running. And what did the model do? The model put 500 million in the economy, in the non-tourism exports. So what does this mean? We found a way to add 500 million in the economy. So this, my friends, is how you create wealth. You have 500 million, and that can be 1,000 people, new businesses, existing businesses, and they are creating 500,000. The total is 500 million in value added. So behind this is the 1,000 people, businesses, earning 500,000 a year. If you have 1,000 people earning 500,000 a year, that's this. Okay? Now, if you want to look at what is the impact on the economy of this. Then you go, because we changed this, and we changed this, and we colored it, then you go to down to the tourism sector, and you see basically nothing actually happened in the tourism sector. So this is the whole tourism sector. Nothing actually happened with the number of stayovers, 188, number of cruise, 186. Nothing happened. So we are still nothing. We are not assuming now that these people are coming to Curacao from Brazil or whatever. We are assuming that there are 1,000 new businesses, 25%. They are all earning 500,000 US dollars, which is a lot. But they came to Curacao and they're providing, in this case, services to Brazil. They are maybe providing services to all these top 10 countries, top 10 companies. Not only Ambev, but imagine, can Ambev pay us? Can Ambev give us 500 million? Can Ambev give us that money if we are all from the Caribbean? It could also be, these are 1,000 from the Curacao, but we can create a scenario where there are 250 from Turks and Caicos, 250 from Jamaica, 250 from Dominica, 250 from Antigua Barbuda, 250 from Grenada, 250 from Dominica, 250 from St. Kitts and Nevis. You see, we want to share. We want to share the goodies. So you, if you are all these companies, you can contact me and we can make a session, and we can, of course it will be in a paid strategic session, and we can calculate this for your country. But now, since you are not here, since I didn't hear from you, I'm putting all these 1,000 for Curacao. Now, nothing happened with the number of cruise and stayover. You see here, Curacao has, I just want to mention this, Curacao has 705, this is gray, so this is realized numbers, it's 705,000 cruise tourists. And look at this, we are growing a lot and we are moving to a target. And we have 582,000 visitors, stayover visitors. There are Brazilians in here. These are 500,000. But nothing happened to these. So this, I want to stress it, this is a non-tourism diversification business case. And now we're going to look at how much did the economy grow. Because I'm going to the real GDP. We saw that the real GDP was 3 point something, and now it went up to 8.4. So if we have 500,000, if we have 500,000 revenue, value added, that's not the same, but let's say value added, and we have 1,000 people, businesses starting from Curacao, our economy will grow with 8.4%, and that is significant. Do you see that? So if you scroll to the right, you see that the change is 4.9. So this is a 4.9% increase in the real GDP, real gross domestic product. I think you can sell this. You can sell this to the Minister of Finance, right? Now, why didn't it happen? Nothing happens with the last year, because this is only 1 year. This is only 1 year. In 2026, you need to continue with this. You understand? So the economy, what will happen is this money, the people will receive this money, they will invest it, but they will import also, because you see here that import has also increased. Because these people, look at this, 2025, I'm here at imports, row 2 to 3. Export will increase, but those people will also buy, those 1,000 enterprises will also buy stuff. They will buy an electric vehicle, they will buy food, they will buy luxury. This simulation model shows you what will happen during the whole economy. So the direct effects and the indirect effects. Probably you will also see export pricing going up because the prices, there will be more demand. You see here inflation, row 216 will go with 0.4%. So for the group of 1,000 people, businesses exporting to Ambev and the top 10 of the Brazilian largest market cap companies, those companies of Brazil are targeting 130 countries in the BRICS. They can sell beer outside Brazil. Then the Brazilian economy will be less volatile because they will sell beer all over the world. Maybe you can sponsor me. Send me a Brazilian Ambev beer. Send me 2 beers and then maybe 5 beers, and I will put it into this episode, the next episode. So if you are from Brazil, let me know below. If you are on LinkedIn, contact me, connect me, tell me something. If you are working in Ambev, tell me something, connect me, and I will check your stock, and I will also dive into your earnings report. If I receive 100 comments below LinkedIn, YouTube, other channels, I will come up with a dive into the business of Ambev. I'm not recommending Ambev right now. I'm just building my case. So this is the economy, the impact on the economy. Now, last thing I want to know is if we want to do this for more years, because I'm not happy. Look at this. Let me look at the Minister of Finance. Would the Minister of Finance like this? That means that we are going to look at the fiscal sector, and the fiscal sector, the Minister of Finance of Curacao, he will see that the indirect taxes rose 69, it grew by 39 million guilders, and then 55 million, 66 million. It will look, those businesses, they will pay taxes, profit tax, so the direct taxes from enterprises rose 70, will go with 25 million up. Then you will see direct taxes from households, those are wage taxes. It will also grow with 23 million. So I think the Minister of Finance of Curacao in this case will be happy. We can do this for Turks and Caicos, Jamaica, all the Eastern Caribbean. We can also do this for St. Martin. They will be very happy. So what you will see here, the indirect taxes, those are also if you are importing computers, etc. So the government will be very happy because the total taxes, total revenues will increase with 105 million, about 105 million going up till 239 million. And you see, of course, it has some impact on the final consumption because the prices will go up. You see row 76. Then you will see the transfer to households. If that is indexed, that is the consumer price goes up, then the transfers to households in this version of the model will also go up. So on the expenditure side, you will see more. So the total expenditures will increase with 58 million to 172. So this is benefit for the taxes. By doing this, we will grow our tax base. That's why I want to increase this much more. So what if we do this? Because I promised you the impact on a small island economy like Curacao, 5 to 7 billion USD, guilder, sorry. What if we want to do this for more years? So we want to increase this not only 500 million this year, but on next year we're going big, because now we are trading with the BRICS. And we can do this for Brazil, we can do this for other nations, right? So I can do this for India, for South Africa, for Russia. Russia is in war right now, but we can do this for all the BRICS, 130. And you can also do this. I'm showing this for Curacao, but you can also do this. So now if we copy this to the right, you will see on top of the screen every cell has been increased with 500 million. So if you go to the right, you will see we're talking about a growth over growth over growth. So if we go full time, full blown into this non-tourism export services, according to the National Export Strategy of Curacao, there are many sectors. And now what I'm just running a simulation to put numbers to it to show you that the National Export Strategy, you can also, this is also backed by the National Export Strategy. So go to online and check the National Export Strategy. If you are a business in the Caribbean, in Curacao, in the Netherlands, if you are a part of the diaspora of Curacao, you are in the Middle East, in the United States, you are in UK, you are in Martinique, you are all over Curacao, I'm going to tell you, busca a National Export Strategy. Find the National Export Strategy of Curacao. Thank you to Vanessa Torre, the director who has guided this program from Ministry of Economic Development. Now check that out, and now here you see the figures, because now it's your turn to turn the National Export Strategy of Curacao into numbers. We're talking about businesses here. Maybe there are businesses on Curacao right now. FBC, the Association of Business Curacao. Maybe you are the ADEC, that's the Association of Small Businesses on Curacao. Maybe you are the data guy, processes, the guys working with Power BI, whatever. Maybe you are my friend in the Netherlands who is a super artificial intelligence and IT development. Maybe you are a friend of mine in the Netherlands who come from Suriname, and we're going to Suriname to the Bitcoin conference, because hi to Miss Maya Parbu, and Parbu is the possible next president, Bitcoin president of Suriname. So we're going there, and we will be also streaming from there to show you. Now this is the impact. Now what do you think will happen? Look at that. So the growth is significant because we have boosted. I'm not saying this is going to happen, but this is just scanning the future. Exports are going to grow with 3.2 billion in 2030. It's going to grow with 500 million, then a billion, then 1.5 billion, then 2.1 billion, 2.6 billion, and 2.3 billion. Put that into national strategy. Okay? Put that into national strategy, or back this up by national strategy. Now, Minister of Finance is going to be happy because he's going to have a lot of money to spend and to show everybody. So let me just give you the fiscal sector. Look at these numbers, man. Look at these numbers. I can just actually take this whole summary here and then check my number. It's 3.3 billion guilders total. Total revenues of this exercise is 3.3 billion. So the economy is going to grow because we received 3.3 billion if the export sector has grown significantly. And it's not the tourism, so there's no impact on the nature, the environment, no impact. We don't need water, extra water production. We don't need extra food for these people. The only impact is we need maybe 1,000 homes. The villa prices are going to go up, and we are going to attract 1,000 high professional, high skilled people who have some attachment, who see this vision. They want to go to Brazil and they want to export services to Brazil from Curacao, living the beautiful island wealth lifestyle. Now, if you want to see what this impact is on the economy, then we're going to the dashboard, and then I'm going to show you the labor market. We don't look at that because it's going to attract a lot of people and a lot of businesses and a lot of employees. Nothing is happening in tourism. Remember, this is only tourism. And I see an export tourism, something going on a little bit there, but we need to check that. Now, let's look at the big growth. The big growth of the economy. So, look at this. This is going to be great because real GDP is going to grow 4.9 extra 5.96. I'm looking at row 228. This is extra GDP you get, and this is the number that you can present. This is the number that everybody is going to go to report. So the Central Bureau of Statistics, the central bank, maybe the other, when they do the national accounts, these are the numbers they're going to present, and they always present it after. So 8.4, 8.5, 8.2, 7.9, 7.4, 6.8. If we consistently create this GDP growth, that means that we can look at the corona and say 2020, look at this, bye-bye. Because in 2020 we got a hit of 18%, and with these numbers, with these numbers, we are not yet, let me see. You see, we are maybe, look at this, it should take the sum of 2021, 2022, 2023, 2024, you will get to 20%. So what does this mean? This means that we got a hit of 2020 of 18%. We are just now at the level of real GDP, or of GDP growth of 2020. So we have like 4 years. It took us 4 years to get back to the level of 2020 because we got such a high hit. And before 2020, it was not enough. Look at that. In 2010, I'm looking at row 228. In 2010, we had like zero something GDP growth. So the economy of Curacao, you can see this, it's not producing wealth. It's producing wealth for other people, for some people, but it's not producing wealth, guys. Look at this. And now, look at the future. The future is bright because the future, if we manage to go to Brazil, in this case, go to BRICS, bring in 1,000 remote workers, Curacao, diaspora, everybody with the knowledge, 1,000 of you, then we get this. This is the picture. This is the island wealth creation. This is the island wealth channel I'm talking about, guys. Okay? So look at this. This is beautiful, right? This is beautiful. Now, what's going to happen? Your debt to GDP is going down. It's going down. So look at this. I just want to look at this number. Your debt to GDP is going down with going down with 5%, 11%, 18%, 25%. Why? Because now you're running a surplus. Now you're running actually a surplus, which is expenditures are lower than revenues. Now you can say bye-bye to the CFT, Commission of Supervisory Financial Supervision. You can say bye-bye to the IMF coming to your place every time and telling you, hey, you need to cut your expenses because you are booming, you are in business. This is just an example of Curacao. You see, there's no political reason I'm saying these kind of things. I'm just telling you the consequences. Unemployment rate going down, so you need more people to help these people, these 1,000 businesses. So I'm talking to Chamber of Commerce right now. Chamber of Commerce, how many businesses do we have right now? Tell me below in the LinkedIn, in YouTube. Tell me below how many active businesses do we have right now, because I cannot find that on your website, and in the past you used to put it. So I don't know why you changed it. Tell me how many businesses. Tell me how many businesses there are in the different sectors, in the I6 sectors. That is the same convention that the Statistical Bureau is using. If you are also on one of these islands, the 8 islands in the Caribbean, Jamaica, Turks and Caicos, St. Martin, tell me, if you are the head of the Chamber of Commerce, how many businesses do we have, and do we have the businesses with the skills to provide services? So I'm interested in the building sector, in the complete census of the business. I'm interested, and if you give me your Chamber of Commerce database, I can do it myself and I will provide you with that service back. But if you don't only want to give me the numbers, tell me how many businesses there are in the different sectors according to the business convention of the Statistical Bureau. Tell me how many businesses there are, and I'm very interested in the businesses that are service businesses. The data scientists, the Rooney Calmeras. Okay? Boom. Right. So I'm going to wrap this thing up. I'm going to wrap this thing up because we talked a lot. And I'm hopeful that you liked this content and you like this long form content. Why? Because if you like this long form content, then now it's time to take action. Okay? Now let me find this. Let me find this. A lot of screens I have, and I want to find this. Yes, to go to the end of this episode. So I want to thank you for staying here so long, because you are apparently interested in island wealth. You saw that we are able to create island wealth. You saw that we are able to create a future for our people. You saw that Curacao is just an example, and we can do the same thing for all the other islands in the Caribbean, especially the Eastern Caribbean islands. If you are a business owner from one hotel, you have some money, you want a calculation, you want this business case to be calculated for your country, Eastern Caribbean, Turks and Caicos, Jamaica. This is not about tourism, this is about diversification. So if you want to work with this business case, tell me below, contact me, link to LinkedIn. Subscribe to this channel, Island Wealth Channel, on YouTube, on LinkedIn. Connect to me on LinkedIn. Write me a comment. Do you have a project team? What do you want? And on YouTube, on LinkedIn, I want your comments below. Did you like this or not? I'm presenting this as long form content because I can present you only a clip of 3 minutes. But in 3 minutes, you are not going to build this business case. All right? So now, next thing. Join our community for free and receive island wealth building tips beyond the Island Wealth channel. Okay, so the episodes and the invites are just, you're outside there. But when you join the community for free, you will receive as first an invitation for my programs. When my programs are open, my training programs, to dive deeper so that you can make money beyond these free episodes, raise your hand by clicking to join. So bit.ly/Island Wealth, you will join my community. What you will join there is just a VIP launch, and you will be sitting there, and I will send you some information about story, about Bitcoin, about building value, about creating wealth, maintaining your wealth when you are living on an island. If you want to live the island lifestyle, you are in the United States, you are in Europe, you are in the Netherlands, you are in France, you want to go to the Caribbean and live the island style, the island wealthy lifestyle, then this is also for you. Maybe you have some connection with the Caribbean, so this is also for you. Join that community, and when you join that VIP launch, you will be sitting in the front row for when the next experience starts. And the next experience is going to be, I'm working on it, the Python Island Wealth Management. Maybe we will change it into Island Wealth Python Management, because it's about Python and artificial intelligence. 8-week program. The second program that's going to launch soon. The doors will be open and close very fast. Only 50 spots, because I want to be coaching and working with you, working with your projects. It's going to be the Island Wealth Investment Academy. That's a 3-day program. A 3-day program where you will see how you can build wealth in Bitcoin, in stocks, and real estate. If you are a high-paid, have some money, high-paid public servant, business owner, you are working with a side job, you have some savings, you have a plan, you have to invest, and you will get your return on investment back, because this is good for your kids, this is good for yourself, this is good for your freedom. I'm Rooney Calmera, and that was it for today. So thank you for being here. Contact me below, comment, and if you give me 100 likes, comments on this show, I will go deeper into that other business, which is Ambev. Yes. So thank you very much, and let me know if you enjoyed this. Okay, we're going out. It's Friday, so let's party. Let's party. Okay, what's going to be? Salsa?